Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another very easy, quick bread recipe for you. Today I am going to show you how to make keto Italian herb and cheese sub sandwich bread. And if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out new videos. And if you are a music lover, make sure you check out the link in the description to my other YouTube channel, Inspirational Songs with Janet. I've posted another new song there, so make sure you check that out. And subscribe to that channel also. And if you'd like to help support this channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So while we do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Lightly grease 3 6-inch sub-sandwich or hot dog bun molds. Place the molds onto a baking sheet and set them aside for a minute. In a small bowl, use a fork and stir together 14 grams or around 2 tablespoons of golden flaxseed meal and 84 grams or around 6 tablespoons of room temperature water. Stir them together for about 1 minute or so, or until they start clumping together a little bit and they're fully combined. Then set the mixture aside and allow it to sit for about 15 to 20 minutes or until the mixture is thickened and has a little bit of a gooey texture. In a large mixing bowl, combine 112 grams or around 1 cup of coconut flour, 10 grams or around 2 tablespoons of whole psyllium husks that have been self-ground until they're about half of the volume. So once you get done grinding them yourself, they should be about 1 tablespoon. Now, you can use pre-ground psyllium husk powder, but from all the experiments that I've done with bread, I find that the best texture is self-ground psyllium husk. The whole psyllium husk gives your bread a little bit too coarse of a texture, in my opinion. And the psyllium husk powder that you buy in the stores, it's ground really fine, and so it's really concentrated. So even if you weigh it out, you can easily get too much psyllium husk, which can cause your bread to have that damp, wet feeling in the middle. It's best to measure your psyllium husk out whole and then grind it yourself till it's about half the volume. So in this case, we're measuring out 10 grams or around 2 tablespoons of whole psyllium husk, and then we're grinding them till they're about half in volume. You want your psyllium husk to be fine, but you want it to still have a little bit of a coarse texture to it. If you do choose to use pre-ground psyllium husk powder, then you'll only need about 5 grams or around 1 tablespoon of the pre-made psyllium husk powder. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 8 grams or around 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and if you want to, you can add some dry seasonings or dried herbs for some flavor to your bread. I'm using 1 tablespoon of instant dry yeast and 1 teaspoon of dry Italian seasonings. Sift or whisk everything together until everything is fully combined and you have no lumps in the dry ingredients, and then set it aside for a minute. In a large mixer bowl, beat together 3 large room temperature eggs on medium speed for about 4 minutes or until the eggs are fully combined and fluffy. You want to make sure that you do this for the full 4 minutes and make sure that mixture is nice and fluffy. This will give you a really nice light texture in your bread, and it also will help it rise a little bit. Coconut flour doesn't rise a lot, but this will help it rise a little bit and give you that lighter texture that you want. Add 118 grams or around a half cup of hot water. You do want to make sure this is hot. The heat will help soften the psyllium husk, and it also helps to activate the psyllium husk so that it holds your bread together and you don't have crumbly bread. Add 15 milliliters or around 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. This will not make your bread taste like vinegar. It just helps react with the baking powder and give your bread a little bit more of a lighter texture. It also helps balance the bread a little bit so that it's less likely that the psyllium husk is going to turn your bread a darker color. As some of you might know, depending on the brand of psyllium husk that you use, it can darken your bread. But if you get the right brand and with the apple cider vinegar, it does help a lot not to do that. Check on your flax meal and water mixture. Make sure it has thickened. It doesn't have to be completely thickened. There can still be some water in it, but you want it to mostly have gotten like a gooey type texture. This is basically, we're using this as an egg substitute so that we don't have to use a bunch of eggs because we don't want our bread to taste like an omelet. So make sure this is thickened, then add it to your wet ingredients. Add a half cup of butter that's been melted and cooled. Beat the wet ingredients together on medium-low for about 30 seconds or until they're fully combined. Keep the mixer running on medium-low. Gradually stir the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients until they're fully combined and a smooth dough begins to form. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the dough to the center of the bowl. Then let the dough sit at room temperature for about 15 minutes so it can absorb any extra liquid and the psyllium husk and flax mixture can start binding the bread together. While the dough is sitting in a small bowl, combine 21 grams or around a 1/4 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, 5 grams or around 1 tablespoon of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, and 1 teaspoon of dry Italian seasoning. Stir everything together until it's fully combined, then set it aside for a minute. After the dough has sat for 15 minutes and absorbed the extra moisture, divide the dough into 3 equal portions. Form each portion into a smooth oval shape, then place the shaped dough into your prepared sub or hot dog bun molds. Make sure when you are shaping the dough portions that you keep the dough smooth. If there are any cracks, just lightly dampen your finger and rub the cracks out. Melt 1 tablespoon of butter, then brush the melted butter in a light layer over the tops of each one of the shaped dough portions. Sprinkle your desired amount of the cheese mixture over the butter that's on top of the dough. If you need to, you can use the back of a spoon and just kind of tap the cheese a little bit into the butter and the dough. That way it secures the topping and the topping won't fall off while it's getting baked. Place the bread into your preheated oven. Bake at 350 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes or until the bread is golden and a tester comes out clean. Once the bread is done baking, remove it from the oven. Allow the buns to cool in the molds for about 20 to 30 minutes or until they're firm. After 20-30 minutes and the buns are firm, use a butter knife and loosen the bread from the sides of the molds. Then remove the sub buns from the molds and transfer them to a wire rack. Allow the sub buns to cool on the rack for at least 1 hour before slicing and serving them. Now you can, if you want to, just wait till they're completely cooled and use them, but for the best texture, it's best to let them sit for at least 1 hour. This just helps all the ingredients to settle in really well and allows the psyllium husk to absorb and make sure that there's no damp texture in the center of your bread. Once you're ready to use the sub buns, then turn them on their side and cut them in half to create a top and a bottom. Then you can fill the buns with any filling of your choice.
All right, we are back with my yummy looking Italian urban cheese bread. Look at that, doesn't that look delicious? This one I cut in half so you can, and didn't put anything on this one, so you can hopefully see a little bit of the crumb. It's got a nice crumb. It's really nice and soft without being crumbly and flaky. I actually made this probably about 4 or 5 days ago and I stored it in the freezer because I wanted to see what the texture was going to be like once it's been defrosted, all that good stuff. And as you can see, the texture is still really nice, not dry or crumbly or cracking or anything like that. Still nice and soft, nice and moist. Doesn't have that damp feel in the middle that sometimes keto breads that use xanthan gum or psyllium husk powder can have a little bit of that damp texture. This does not have that. That's why I emphasize self-ground psyllium husk and not psyllium husk powder. Anyway, this is it. It's yummy, looks yummy anyway, smells yummy. I love that Italian seasoning smell. I just have ham and cheese and spinach and mayonnaise on it, nothing extravagant, but you, of course, can put anything you want on this. So let's see what this tastes like. Oh yeah. That's really good. Very, very delicious. That Italian seasonings in there, so yummy. This would taste really, really good on my meatball sandwich recipe. Yeah, yeah. So yes, this is a definite thumbs up. Holding my sandwich, so I'll put a pinky up. Thumbs up there. As you can see, it holds together very nicely. It did not crumble when I took a bite out of it. It's got that nice soft texture. Very tasty, very tasty. There's the thumb. Thumbs up. Excellent. Very good stuff. Will be made again and again. Tasty, tasty.
You can eat these immediately. If you do have any leftovers, store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 3 days, or in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to 1 week, or wrap them individually and place them in an airtight container in your freezer for up to 2 months. Eat and enjoy.
And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more recipes like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.